Hey guys, it's Lane here with HobbiesofaMan. Once again, and today we're going to be doing another single issue comic review. I've been doing a lot of these on the channel this month, similar to last month, I think. That's just because I've been really far behind, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up to these soon here. I just don't know when that will be, but hopefully it's before the month end, so I don't have, half of the month's videos just being single issue comic reviews, right? But today we're going to be looking at Ultimate Spider-Man number 7. This is the July issue. It was released at the end of July, but it's the issue that covers the month of July within the story, right? So I hope that means that once we get to 12 and we get to December and the year of Ultimate Spider-Man is up, we continue on beyond that, but I'm not sure if that's the case. So hopefully it turns out that we do continue on. If we don't, I'll be pretty upset about it, but it is what it is, right? So yeah, the same team as always is working on this is Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto, Corey Petit, and Matt Wilson. I have a, my notebook over here, so if you keep looking at that, that's why. And it was a pretty good issue. I like this cover a lot. I think it's very nice. And it's pretty relevant to what happened in the story, right? Because it opens up with Otto Octavius in the Oscorp, hidden laboratory within the building that used to be Stark Industries from 2 episodes or 3 chapters ago, I think, 3 issues ago, when Harry, maybe it was last issue actually, when we learn Harry's backstory and how, Wilson Fisk gave him Stark Industries. He found Otto Octavius there, they found the armor, and then they turned it into the Goblin armor, right? And so he's just fiddling with it, he's having fun, messing with it, and telling them that it's amazing. He introduces himself, Harry introduces Otto to Peter. They, say hello and move on. And then Harry talks about how Otto joined Oscorp. It's kind of telling us how these things happened for us to understand, how this world differs from the other one. Basically, Harry's dad just found the best people that he could find, hired them, and, it is what it is. It's really nothing special, but it helps you understand where they're coming from. If I remember correctly, Peter in this world isn't like a super scientist. So he kind of is confused and doesn't really get what Otto is saying, but he kind of understands, right? Then Otto explains how the Goblin suit is like a war machine, which I'm guessing means that this wasn't an Iron Man suit, but rather a war machine suit. And he talks about how Peter's is actually different. It has a different technology that's quite interesting. It's called Picotech, as in Pico the unit, right? Because nanotech means nano-sized technology. Picotech means pico-sized technology, and if I remember my units correctly, pico means 10 to the 12, and nano means 10 to the 9, right? I can't remember if that's correct or not, so don't quote me on that. Which means that I'm a horrible engineer, because I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't, because it wasn't actually that important to know that. But yeah, if I remember correctly, pico means 10 to the 12. If not, I'll make a correction down below. But basically, it's a super tiny technology that works together in order to create this suit, right? And we get to see this in action because Peter doesn't remove his mask. He just carves out a goatee out of it, and then now he has access to his mouth, right? So they can see that he's talking and that he can eat, right? And it's pretty funny. It looks really hilarious because it's like Spider-Man mask, and then his beard comes out of it, and it's pretty funny. But it's not that special. I just enjoy how that looks, right? And Otto tells him about the fact that they both have adaptive AI within their suits. They just have to activate it according to a specific personality. So this is pretty cool, and I think this is going to be the way in which Harry has the Goblin, psychosis going on, and how Venom is going to occur, right? Because Pico technology with a sentience that Peter asks for to be based on himself means that is going to be the black suit, right? I think that's what's going to happen, and I think that'll be pretty cool. And Harry wanted his dad as his AI base, right? So Harry's always going to have his dad talking to him in his head, and Peter's going to have himself, who's going to be probably slightly darker as the series continues, right? So that'll be very, very exciting. I think that was cool. And we get to see that this is going to pay off pretty quickly here as soon as we come back to them, because at this point we transition over to Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy, and they are going to the paper to meet with the old men, with Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson, but they're not there. They're actually chasing down a lead. Mary Jane gets upset about this. She's like, dude, come on. we we made a plan to meet, and then the guys just don't show up. That's annoying, right? And it turns out that they're actually with Robbie Robertson, who is giving them information from inside the Daily Bugle. He's telling them, hey, this came by our desk, but no one's going to publish this because we're part of the machine. I need you guys to publish this, right? The thing is, they tell him, hey, why don't you come work with us? And he's like, no, I need you guys to do this separately. I'm going to be your man on the inside, and I'm going to push information towards you guys so that you guys can release it. It's pretty interesting. It's cool, but also it kind of makes it so Robbie Robertson ends up kind of like not being culpable, right? Like there's basically he's doing this as a way to get the information out, but it's also kind of like an easy way for him to like have deniable plausibility. Is that the word? Right? He can say like, oh, it wasn't me, right? At the same time, it's also like a huge red flag. I'm pretty sure that means he's gonna die soon, and that sucks, right? So yeah, he shares this info with them that's dangerous. They're excited about it, and then they go back. And then we transition over to Monsieur Britton, who meets with Wilson Fisk. They talk about what's been happening. They talk about the fact that, Monsieur Britton lost one of his bullseyes, and he's ready to offer 6 more to Fisk in order to take control of the situation. And Fisk is acting like he owns the place, because he technically does own this region of the world at this point. And Monsieur Britton comments about this. He's like, oh, you're finally acting like the king of this area. Good for you, right? And he offers his 6 bullseyes, and Fisk is like, no, I've got 6 plans of my own that don't need this help. And I guess that means the Sinister Six is are going to be involved, right? And that'll be cool. So far, I think we've seen the Shocker, we've seen a Scorpion, and the Green Goblin, of course, is one, but he's not going to be a bad guy in this. So I'm not really sure who the other ones are going to be. Maybe Black Cat. I know that they released the solicits for issue 11, I think, and that has Black Cat on it, and she looks great. So maybe that's what's going to happen. I'm not really sure. It'll be interesting, right? The Vulture will probably show up at some point, but he hasn't yet, and I wonder if he's just going to be another Iron Man type armor. That'll be cool, but who knows? Then we come back to Peter and Harry, and they're actually sparring. They have their AI in their heads now, and Peter is having fun bouncing ideas off of himself, while Harry is being goaded and shit on by his dad. And I don't know why he would choose his dad in his head. I know that his dad just died and he never got like love from him, but like, dude, that means that you're free. It doesn't mean that you have to force yourself to go through torture again. And he does, and it's really stupid, but it's understandable. And this is how you get that goblin psychosis, where he like talks to himself in his mind, right? Except it's not himself, it's his dad's AI. And I think that this is a really cool technological version of that same thing. So I like that. I think it's interesting, but man, he's stupid as hell for doing this. Why would he choose this, by himself? I think that like, I understand the concept and I understand like the idea. And I think that if it was executed slightly differently, it would work really well. For me, it just seems like a stupid reason in order to create this situation that will feel similar to something we know, right? And I understand it. I just think that it could have been done better, because Jonathan Hickman is supposed to be this the super awesome writer, and this is a very contrived way of doing this, right? So I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but not so much that it bothers me. It's just like, dude, come on, there was better ways to do this. Why didn't you do it differently? But it is what it is. So yeah, they spar. It gets a little too serious for Peter's liking, but eventually they finish up. And then Iron Man shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, I told you guys I'd be back, and I'm here. And that's where the issue ends, and it was pretty cool. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. That ending was really awesome. I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm not really caught up with any of the other Ultimates, so I have no clue what's going on everywhere else, but this was awesome. So I really liked it, and I think you guys should check it out. If you haven't picked up the series yet, I think you can get the first trade by now, and then you can either trade wait for the second one, or just go ahead and find a way to catch up to this, because it should be pretty easy to find these issues, at least starting after the first trade. But I recommend it. I think it's pretty fun. I don't think it's as good as the original Ultimate Spider-Man, because that's a very different vibe, right? Like the original Ultimate Spider-Man is like a restart a from zero to you know, the end kind of story. This is more like a reimagining with like a twist, and you know, it's working so far. I'm really liking it, but I think if you want to first experience reading Spider-Man, it's probably better to go with the original Ultimate Spider-Man, or go back to the originals, not, you know, follow through with this. So, you know, there you go. Your mileage may vary with that. So far, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, there you go. That's really not much else to say. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.